last 10 years alone, women's wrestling has evolved about 150 years. Because in this past decade, women's wrestling has gone from it just being a 2-minute short match bathroom break, or sometimes just a segment where they're just there to be sexually objectified, to a true integral part of any show, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, and heck, they can even main event those shows alongside major shows like WrestleMania. So today we're gonna figure out who my favorite female WWE superstar is through a single elimination bracket tournament to figure out who my favorite is. And hey, this tournament was sent in by Jacob over at santizapmail@gmail.com. So feel free to send in any quizzes or video ideas that you might have. And hey, as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. We're so close to 100,000 subscribers, and I've got a couple of great video ideas to help celebrate that milestone. So help me get there. Subscribe. All right, let's start off with the first matchup of round one. We have Brie Bella versus Xia Li. I have been able to connect with Xia Li because she pretty much spends her entire time on WWE main event. Meanwhile, Brie Bella is a Hall of Famer, and we've seen her in action for the better part of a decade. She's not, you know, my favorite, but I have a lot more to sink my teeth into instead of Xia Li, so I'll go with Brie Bella. Next up, we have Mickie James and Mandy Rose, and you know what? Had Mandy Rose maybe not left the WWE, she'd be higher up on this list, but it's tough to beat Mickie James. Mickie James is one of my favorites of all time, one of the icons of the Ruthless Aggression era, which many of you know that's the era that I grew up in, so I gotta go with Mickie James. Next up, we have Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair. Jeez, okay, two of the top women in the WWE today. I'm inclined at this moment to go with Bianca Belair. I feel like Bianca Belair has put on the better matches. Not necessarily that I'm going based on like how high they are up in the card, because that's not the purpose of this video. It's to figure out who my favorite is. But I think Bianca's body of work has lended itself to better matches and also higher stakes matches, because she has main evented a WrestleMania Night 1 with Sasha Banks, and that match was phenomenal. And I can't think of a Liv Morgan match that really even come close to that match. And Bianca Belair has several handful of like fantastic banger matches, so I'm gonna take Bianca Belair. Next up, we have Ember Moon or Indy Hartwell. Ember Moon to me was severely underutilized and underappreciated in NXT Black and Gold. I thought she was fantastic. Indy Hartwell, on the other hand, is I don't know, like I've never really been able to really vibe with her. I don't know, like to me she's always felt like an auxiliary character to other players in the space, whether she's an auxiliary character to a Dexter Lumis storyline, to a Candice LeRae storyline. I've yet to really see her really go off on her own. She had a chance, but then she, I believe, broke her ankle, so we never really got to see her be, you know, at the top of the mountain of the NXT Women's Division by herself, unfortunately. So I'm gonna go with Ember Moon. Next up, we have Paige and Cora Jade. And look, this is, I don't know if I'm in a minority here. I never got the hype for Paige. I know I'm about to get crucified by everybody in the UK. I never got the hype for Paige. I don't know. I always felt like her matches were like fine. Like people make it seem like she's been putting on these like absolute 5-star classics that need to be treasured for the rest of time. I don't know. Paige has never done it for me. I'm just saying that she is going to move on to the next round because she has I guess a more diverse and richer body of work that I've seen instead of Cora Jade, who's still in her early days in NXT. I'm going to take Paige, but just know I think she is severely overrated. Mighty Molly, aka Molly Holly, or Tori Wilson. Look, Tori Wilson, I don't know, without getting gross, like she got me through puberty. Oh God, that's gross enough. Okay, all right, Tori Wilson. Ivory or Kairi Sane, I never really got to see Ivory, so I can't really comment on her. Kairi Sane, on the other hand, I've gotten to see her work in the WWE as well as in Japan, and she is a phenomenal professional wrestler. She is, I don't know, like, what's what I'm looking for? She has this ability to connect with the audience with her in-ring work and her facial expressions that's very unique to her. So I'm going to be taking Kairi Sane. Queen Zelina or Santana Garrett? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know who Santana Garrett is, so I'm taking Queen Zelina. Mercedes Martinez or Mia Yim? I mean, Mercedes Martinez, I mean, she's in AEW, but she was in NXT Black and Gold there, or was it 2.0? Anyway, she was in NXT for a bit, but yeah, not really enough for me to be able to really truly comment on. Mia Yim hasn't really done much either, so she's kind of moving on by default here. Bayley or Victoria? Okay, look, Victoria is one of my favorites of all time. I think that she is such an underrated powerhouse from the women's division in the Ruthless Aggression era, but I can't deny Bayley. Like, it's Bayley, man. Like, she is such a staple of women's wrestling today. She's one of the reasons why women's wrestling is so high on people's level of importance these days. Mind you, Victoria was one of the few women who were holding it down in the Ruthless Aggression era alongside Trish Stratus and Lita, because everyone else at that time, for the most part, was like the pretty model. Like, Victoria was there to kick ass and be a professional wrestler. But this is a tough first round matchup. I am going to go with Bayley, though, honestly. Sonya Deville or Dakota Kai? I know a lot of y'all love Dakota Kai. Her work in NXT has been fantastic. We haven't really gotten to see too much from her in the main roster. I am going to take Dakota Kai because I just haven't loved Sonya Deville's work in the main roster, and she's gotten years and years of opportunities. Meanwhile, Dakota Kai is still in the infancy stage, but she's got a great body of work over in NXT that is really worth rewatching. So I'm going to take Dakota Kai. Natalya or Tegan Knox? Yeah, Natalya gets way too much hate. I need to put some respect on her name. Like, she is one of the very few people that were legitimate, like, professional wrestlers alongside Beth Phoenix during that like late 2000s, early 2010s era, where it was just the Divas era, where they were getting no more than 2 minutes. Like Natalya brought a level of legitimacy to that Divas division that had none. So put some respect on Natalya's name. I'm taking Natalya. Sasha Banks versus Melina is another brutal first round matchup for me. I don't think that it's close, but I really do love Melina. I think she is a great valet, great professional wrestler as well. But Sasha Banks, man, the boss. Also, that's a great picture of her, the Sailor Moon outfit. I love that. I am going to be taking Sasha Banks. Alexa Bliss or Wendy Chu? Come on, well, Alexa Bliss. Toni Storm or Chelsea Green? I'm taking Chelsea Green. Toni Storm never really got too much of an opportunity to do a lot in the WWE main roster. Heck, not even a lot in NXT Black and Gold. Most of her body of work really is over in NXT UK. I'm taking Chelsea Green. Kelly Kelly or Dana Brooke? Look, Kelly Kelly to me is the personification of everything that was wrong with the Divas division there for a while. I think she's, for many of you, you know, what Tori Wilson was to me. So I wouldn't blame you if you're moving forward with Kelly Kelly. But I think Dana Brooke, I mean, like, it's kind of like pick your poison. Dana Brooke doesn't really do it for me either, but I'm gonna go with Dana Brooke. All right, next up we have Billie Kay versus Lacey Evans, and I'm gonna be honest, Billie Kay has never really done it for me unless she's part of the tag team with Peyton Royce, because the Iconics are amazing. I love the Iconics, but them individually, I don't know, they don't really do it for me. I don't really think that there's anything in there too much to celebrate. Meanwhile, Lacey Evans, at the very least, like, had a cool gimmick there for a while, I guess. Like, the Southern Belle was cool, and she main evented a PLE. Don't you forget that. All right, she main evented a PLE, that mixed tag match with Baron Corbin and Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. So there's that to point out. So I guess I'll go with Lacey Evans. Oh, Carmella or AJ Lee? Look, I love Carmella. I think that she's money, but you're going up against AJ Lee, man. Like, it's AJ freaking Lee, dude. Like, I'm sorry. We're going with AJ Lee. My bad, Carmella. I love you, but it's AJ Lee all day. Michelle McCool or Alicia Fox? God, look, dude, that era of early 2010s women's wrestling, Alicia Fox was just like the prime suspect of like some of the worst matches imaginable. Michelle McCool, on the other hand, was actually quite nice in the ring. I'm taking Michelle McCool. Beth Phoenix or Lana? I was just gushing over Natalya and Beth Phoenix, so it wouldn't really make sense for me to pick Lana here, but Lana's barely even an in-ring competitor, so I'm taking Beth Phoenix. Summer Rae or Asuka? Okay, all right, Asuka. Like, that's so quick. Oh, Naomi or Rhea Ripley? Look, if we were talking 2 years ago, Naomi's winning this, because Naomi for a while was one of my favorites. I love the glow. I love her entrance, her presentation, her character, but she's been gone for so long that it's given somebody like Rhea Ripley the opportunity to catapult to the top of the roster. And Rhea Ripley already at, what is she, 26, 27, already has a resume worthy of a Hall of Fame career. So I'm taking Rhea Ripley here. Mommy. Sarah Logan or Becky Lynch? This is an easy one for Becky. Becky's moving on. Aaliyah or Lita? I didn't even realize Aaliyah was still in the WWE. Apparently she still is. I don't know. They just never use her. I don't know. She's the MVP of catering these days. Lita, of course. I'm just realizing this camera angle makes me look like I'm 5'2". I'm 6'2", okay? I just want to clarify that. Cameron or Kylie Rae? Cameron was the worst one of the Funkadactyls. Did she do anything after the Funkadactyls? I don't know. Whatever. I mean, at least she got to dance at WrestleMania that one time. I'm taking Kylie Rae. Charlotte Flair or Nikki Bella? Ooh, I mean, two legends for sure. But Nikki Bella, I'm going to give her flowers here because she was part of that terrible generation of divas wrestling in the WWE, and she really personified like divas wrestling. But you know, as the women's evolution started to kick off and women's wrestling started to become more legitimate, like she shifted with the times. Like she became a much better in-ring storyteller and professional wrestler. So I gotta give her props for evolving with the times. But it's Charlotte Flair. Also, they spelled her name wrong. Charlotte Flair. Nikki ASH or Shayna Baszler? Look, Shayna Baszler in NXT Black and Gold is the second greatest women's professional wrestling ever there. Okay, after Asuka, it's Shayna Baszler. I'm sorry, Nikki ASH. Whether it's your superhero gimmick, your crazy gimmick, none of it has ever done it for me. Shayna Baszler is an absolute fucking badass. I'm taking Shayna Baszler. Shotzi or Ruby Riott? I mean, they're kind of the same like gimmick and character, sort of. Like I don't think that either one is much better than the other. I guess I will take Ruby Riott. I think she's a bit better in the ring, but I've never really been impressed by her. Tamina or Ronda Rousey? Y'all hate Ronda Rousey too much. Like this isn't even close. Like Ronda Rousey is so important to the legitimacy of the women's division. Honestly, like I get it. You know, she hates us, so a lot of us have started to hate her back. But she's so important, and she can be so good when she's given the opportunity. I'm taking Ronda Rousey. Jillian Hall or Peyton Royce? I mean, I kind of disqualified her tag team partner, Billie Kay, for being by herself, but like she's going up against Jillian Hall. And I mean, Peyton Royce was the better member of the Iconics anyway, so I guess I'll go with Peyton Royce. Nia Jax or Candice LeRae? I am going to take Nia Jax, believe it or not. At the very least, she brings something unique to the women's division, which is a massive powerhouse. She botches everything. She hurts everyone all the time. But I don't know. We haven't really gotten to see enough of Candice LeRae, especially on the main roster. And even in NXT Black and Gold, she didn't get to do too much, although I was there live to see her versus Io Sky at NXT TakeOver Toronto too. That was a pretty solid match. I am going to take Nia Jax, but it's like reluctantly. Doudrop, aka Piper Niven or Maurice. Maurice as a character is great, and as a tandem with The Miz is great, but you know, in ring, Piper Niven all day, baby. All right, we are on to the next round. It is Beth Phoenix versus Peyton Royce, and I think this is a runaway for Beth Phoenix. She is one of the legitimate ass kickers from the women's divas division, I should say, and she helped pave the way for the women's evolution. A lot of people credit the Bellas. I think it's Natalya and Beth Phoenix. I'm taking Beth Phoenix here. Bianca Belair or Dakota Kai? I'm sorry, Dakota Kai. I don't think this is close. Bianca Belair just has too many amazing matches. I'm taking Bianca Belair. Dana Brooke, Kairi Sane, not even close. Taking Kairi Sane on this one, fellas. Brie Bella versus Becky Lynch. I also don't think that this is very close. Becky Lynch is one of like the personifications of the women's evolution. Like she is one of the four horsewomen of wrestling at this moment in time. I'm taking Becky Lynch. Rhea Ripley or Asuka? Oh, okay. Like if I'm going pure like recency bias, I'm taking Rhea Ripley. But if I'm including like, you know, whole career, everything that they've done, like Asuka is just awesome. Like that run in NXT Black and Gold, everything that she's done in the main roster, I think she's severely underutilized and severely disrespected by writers. I'm taking Asuka all day, every day. I'm sorry, mommy. Sasha Banks or Tori Wilson? Look, I already regret the puberty line, so let's just move on past this and take Sasha Banks. Mickie James or Ember Moon? You know what? You know what's kind of funny? They're kind of similar in some ways, like in terms of the types of matches that they're capable of having. But Mickie James just has a far more legendary resume than Ember Moon has. So I'm going to be taking Mickie James. And again, Mickie James is just one of my favorites of all time. I'm taking Mickie. Bayley versus Paige. You guys already heard me tell you that I think that Paige is one of the most overrated, overhyped talents in WWE history. I never got it. I never understood it. Okay. So Bayley. Queen Zelina or Piper Niven? I am going to take Zelina, and Zelina has really won me over, especially with her in-ring work over the last 6 months as a member of the LWO. I think she's been the best thing of the LWO. I think Piper Niven still needs to have time to rebuild herself after being part of this terrible Doudrop gimmick. So let's give Piper Niven some time, but for now, I am going to take Queen Zelina. Natalya or Lita? Some of y'all are going to call me crazy, but I'm taking Natalya. Look, I know that Lita did a lot of cool shit. I don't discount that. It was pretty much just her and Trish Stratus carrying the mantle, but Natalya was doing the same thing. She just gets less credit for it because she wasn't part of like the Hardy Boys storyline. But I think Natalya, like literally for like 7 years, her and I mean Beth Phoenix didn't last as long, but for such a long time, she had to carry the most pathetic women's division in WWE history, and she was the only good thing about it. And she's still kicking around. She's still helping younger talent get over. I have to go with Natalya. Some of y'all are going to throw tomatoes. I'm taking Natalya. Charlotte Flair, Kylie Ray. I'm sorry, Kylie Ray. It's not close. Taking Charlotte Flair. Ronda Rousey versus Mia Yim. I'm taking Ronda Rousey. Nia Jax or Alexa Bliss. Hey, like a battle of best friends. I am going to take Alexa Bliss here, though. Shayna Baszler or Chelsea Green. I know I've been telling you guys I'm never going to do that again, but I lied. I cheat. I steal Shayna Baszler. Lacey Evans or AJ Lee. I think you guys would riot if I picked anyone that wasn't AJ Lee here, so I'm taking AJ Lee. And in the last matchup of round 2, we have Michelle McCool and Ruby Riott. I'm going to be taking Michelle McCool. Hey, hopefully you've been enjoying this video so far. Just wanted to let you know that this video is sponsored by my patrons over at patreon.com/SantiZap. That's right. We now have a Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap, where you're going to get my new wrestling podcast, Wrestling is Cool, 3 days early, plus the supplementary extra podcast exclusively available on Patreon called Wrestling is Cool Plus. You're also going to get my Monday Night Raw reviews, Friday Night SmackDown reviews. You're going to get access to the monthly Wrestling Book Club, which is a watch along that we all get to talk about whatever it is that we're watching, and you get to send in questions for the monthly mailbag. All of those things are exclusive to our patrons. So thank you to everybody that's supporting over on patreon.com/SantiZap. This is a brand new venture, so hopefully you help me out with a couple extra bucks. You're going to get way more content, even though you already get daily content here. But hell, if you want more, patreon.com/SantiZap. Check the link down below. All right, we are in round 3, and it is Sasha Banks versus Asuka. And all right, we're getting into some brutal matchups. Look, I think I like Sasha Banks more. That's what I'm leaning towards. I like Sasha Banks more. I think that she is a much better character than Asuka has ever been. I think that she has higher range and her ceiling is much higher than Asuka's ever will be. Unfortunately, Sasha Banks is doing her thing in the independent circuits and she's killing it over there. Asuka, on the other hand, has just made an amazing Hall of Fame career here in the WWE. But she is significantly older than Sasha Banks, so Sasha Banks still has a lot more to be able to prove in the world of professional wrestling. And I think that extra time gives her the edge because I think Sasha Banks is going to carve out potentially the greatest women's career of all time between her time in WWE, maybe AEW, New Japan. I think she's going to be one of those that does it all and is at the top of the mountain everywhere that she goes. I'm going to take Sasha Banks. Queen Zelina versus Kairi Sane. I think this is where I'm going to end the run of Zelina Vega and I'm going to take the better professional wrestler in Kairi Sane. Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. Great matchup. I will say Alexa Bliss has, to me, changed the narrative from the 4 horsewomen to the 5 horsewomen. I really believe that she is part of that conversation. I am going to be taking Becky Lynch, however. Beth Phoenix versus AJ Lee. Jesus. Look. Listen, if I had Natalya beat Lita and I was basically singing her praises because of the same reasons that I've been singing the praises of Beth Phoenix, you're probably thinking that I'm going to take Beth Phoenix. But Natalya's career lasted much longer than Beth Phoenix's career. Natalya is still around putting people over. In the short amount of time that we had these two, I feel like AJ Lee made the biggest impact out of both of them. So I'm going to take AJ Lee. Bianca Belair or Natalya. Look, I cannot sing the praises of Natalya more. But today, now I have to look at what we have today, and Bianca Belair is one of the best in the business right now. I don't love her character, and by the way, you dipshits that call me a racist simply because I don't like her character, grow the fuck up. I think that she's a phenomenal athlete and puts on one of the best matches. So everybody that calls me racist because this is racially motivated, you just don't like. I don't like the way that she's written for and booked. Okay, grow a fucking pair. Grow up. I'm taking Bianca Belair. Michelle Michelle McCool or Charlotte Flair. Again, it's bothering me how they spelled Charlotte, but I'm taking Charlotte. Ronda Rousey or Shayna Baszler. Isn't this funny that these two ended up getting paired together at this point? I'm going to take Shayna. Shayna just had to do way more and has a bigger backlog of amazing matches over in NXT. You know, she hasn't really been treated that great on the main roster aside from when she was initially called up. But I feel like, you know, the sky's the limit right now with Shayna. So I'm going to take Shayna. Mickie James or Bayley. Bayley, I'm sorry. This is where your run ends because you're going up against one of my favorites. I'm taking Mickie James. Also, I'm just realizing that whoever sent this quiz didn't include Chyna or Trish Stratus. What's wrong with you, dude? All right, we're on to the next round, and we're starting off with Bianca Belair versus Mickie James, and I'm gonna take Mickie James. And I think Mickie James has more great matches than Bianca Belair does. I think that Mickie James was able to and demonstrated that she could do it everywhere. She's doing it in Impact, the Independents. She's done it in the WWE. I just think that there's so many better Mickie James matches than Bianca Belair matches. That being said, Bianca Belair still has plenty of years in her career to be able to catch up to like a legendary figure like Mickie James. So I'm going to take Mickie James. We have Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee, and I am going to be taking Becky Lynch. Sasha Banks or Shayna Baszler. This is where the run of Shayna Baszler ends. I'm going to be taking the boss, the legit boss, Sasha Banks. And then Charlotte Flair versus Kairi Sane. I'm sorry, Kairi, but I am taking Charlotte Flair. All right, here we go. In the final four, I have Sasha Banks taking on Becky Lynch. And look, now we're just kind of an impossible position, territory, because I think both of them are absolutely amazing. Man, look, I think I'm going to go with Becky Lynch here. Because, dude, like they've basically had just like equally great careers, but Becky Lynch, on the other hand, at one point or another, wasn't just the most popular woman in wrestling. She was the most popular wrestler, period, on the planet. Didn't matter what promotion you were a part of. The man Becky Lynch was the most popular woman in the world of professional wrestling. That popularity was so strong that it got her, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey a main event spot at WrestleMania 35 before they were doing two nights. That was a true final match at a WrestleMania. Oh man, here's the thing, like Sasha Banks could have easily been in that match instead of Charlotte Flair, and it still probably would have been as big. I'm taking Becky Lynch though. Next up we have Charlotte Flair or Mickie James. I know I've been gushing about Mickie James, but Charlotte Flair is just on another level. Like Charlotte Flair's matches have just consistently blown me away. I know that sometimes she has some duds here or there, but in the biggest moments, the biggest stages, she's always in contention for match of the night. Look no further than WrestleMania this past year with Rhea Ripley, where she put on arguably the best match of the show. And that's saying something because that show had some phenomenal matches. I am going to be taking Charlotte Flair. Mickie James, I love you, but it's about the new generation now. The new generation is the best crop of women's wrestlers of all time, and this final is about to demonstrate that. I'm taking Charlotte Flair. All right, in the final, we have Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, and I feel like I'm in a position where I'm probably going to lose some subscribers here. I think, as much as sometimes I don't like her, as much as many of you don't like her, I think Charlotte Flair is the greatest women's professional wrestler of all time. Like seriously, I really genuinely believe that. I think that she has the size and strength to be able to do very unique movesets that somebody like Becky Lynch or somebody like Sasha Banks aren't able to do, while also having the agility to do some high flyer stuff that only the smaller women are capable of doing. I think that she really is the whole package. As a character, sometimes it leaves a lot to be desired, but at the very least, heel Charlotte Flair really does call out to me, but babyface Charlotte Flair does not. Becky Lynch, I've already sang her praises. To me, she's firmly number two. Look, I'm sorry. I know a lot of you guys don't like her, but I'm taking Charlotte Flair. I think she's the greatest women's professional wrestler of all time. And that's it. Thank you very much for sending in this quiz. You should have included Chyna and Trish Stratus. Don't forget to check out the Patreon. There's already an episode of Wrestling is Cool over there, and there's going to be so much more uploaded there on a regular basis. So go check it out. Just for a few extra bucks, you get a little bit more Santi. Actually, not a little bit more Santi, a lot more Santi. Anyways, I'm out. Get out of here.